And away we go.
If we had one of those little boards, we'd snap it right now, so.
That's true. We would. It'd be like this. Just like that.
Real World Recovery, Episode 1, Take 1.
We're already off to a smashing start, my friend.
Crushing it as usual. Yeah. If anybody said we weren't genuine.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'd like to start by saying thank you to everybody who came out and have supported us in the past week. The outpouring of support, both on Facebook and on YouTube, it's been fantastic to see.
100%.
Remember, we can't build this community without you, so stay involved. I love to see it. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I can probably build a community with all of the voices in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's a really weird place.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
I very much prefer the community that's out there starting by far. So
see, we need you guys to come
in
and keep Brett sane. I mean, it's really it's good for
heavy
everyone.
lifting. It's heavy lifting, and I appreciate the support.
Oh, I love it. So how was your week?
It was great. It was awesome. I truly like you said, it's been fantastic to see the kind of amazing support and amazing viewership and just the feedback that I've gotten, and I mean it's really been energizing to get this kind of feedback, and it was kind of a shot in the dark and an idea that started, and it was one of those things where it was just like,
I mean, let's be real, you obsessed over it a little bit for about a week or two.
I did a lot. I'm trying to
it's all good.
But yes, it is nice to see that there's as much of a positive
response
that to this that as I thought there would be, because I noticed a lack. I noticed that there was not the kind of representation for this that I wanted, that I was looking for, and it was one of those things where it was like, well, why not make it? And so,
why not, indeed? And here we are. So that's why we're here, because we asked around, and there isn't a whole lot of recovery representation for us weirdos. It just really, I mean, that's what it comes down to.
True.
Everybody's got to be so straight-laced and like, recovery, I'm going to put a tie on and be like, okay.
Well, there's kind of a hole in the story.
Sure.
That's told. It's like, and then what? Right?
Right, what comes next?
Like, so that, there's the real picture I didn't feel was being represented, and the clinical picture is out there, what you can read in a textbook or you can see in a classroom setting, but that's not the lived experience, and so I wanted to try to explore that, and so but as far as how the week's been, it's been interesting. I mean, life happens, like there's always something.
There is, indeed.
What I'm finding is this week's word for the week, I guess, that's been, I keep coming back to is surrender. And not in the sense of like giving up so much as recognizing the things that I don't have control of.
Sure.
And the freedom that I feel in that, because I've been able to take all of that freed up energy and all of that freed up brain power and focus and passion
straight at that notepad.
And I have, and I really have.
I know.
I'm like, I've never felt so like on mission and like energized for something, and the like clarity of purpose. Makes me wish I was a writer, because then I would have better words to describe it.
That's what I'm here for.
I mean, I guess I should be using ChatGPT more, because I would have a better way to describe how I'm feeling. But it truly, that's what I've been practicing a lot this week, is really trying to like stay centered on the things that I have control over and how I'm responding to the things that I don't. And it has not been easy. It has not been fun, but extremely like rewarding, and I haven't felt like this in a long time, and you know it's yeah. But I know you also
had a wild week.
Had quite the week as well. So.
Well, I mean, okay. I was sick earlier this week. I spent a whole 36 hours sleeping. I had a day off on Wednesday, and I slept from like Tuesday night all the way until like Thursday morning, like almost entirely the whole time. Which
I'm just gonna, for anybody that doesn't know, like, that's a lot of sleep for you.
That's a lot of sleep for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was feeling very run ragged. I had been fighting like some sort of crud since well into last week. You know. So I did that. I woke up, felt better. My original plan was to go and do all the college stuff that you guys may have seen me do on Wednesday, but instead I got up bright and early at 10 a.m. on Friday. Got it done. Hey man, when you work 11 to 7, dude, what's morning, right?
Yeah.
What's morning, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So before I get to that, though, we did have a death in not necessarily the family, but like close enough.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's been around the entire time I've been alive, which is pretty rough. You know, I have a really good way of compartmentalizing.
Close.
Yeah, I don't know why I struggle with that word. Compartmentalization. Anyway, I digress. It doesn't matter. So I'm really good at not really grieving.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily something that, unless I'm like actually confronted with it, like right in front of me, I'm just not gonna acknowledge that it exists until I have to, and then I will, you know, console those who need consoling. But I probably, will just shove that away where I've shoved away everything else. Because my life has to continue going on, whether I like it or not. It's not like it was. It's not like it was something that we didn't see coming. But for some people who are involved specifically, it's going to be a lot more devastating than it is for instance, for me. So, and that's okay. All I can do is my best to be there for those people, and do whatever I can to make it a little more comfortable and tolerable for them. Yeah, so that's lame. What else did I do? I quit my job. That was pretty exciting. Nothing like giving an exit interview to somebody who has already heard everything I had to say. That was kind of a unique experience. But hey, who knows? Maybe there will be some real change. Anyway, also on to the next topic, I suppose. Yeah, so I started an education blog on this channel. So remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be notified when you want to follow the journey of me going back to college, probably full time. At 42 years old, it's going to be a interesting experience. I suspect at first it'll be very easy for me with all of my life experience. But I suspect it'll get harder as it goes. Let's fucking hope so, anyway.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be a change.
Yeah.
The fact that
I don't think there was a point in my life before now that I was ready to commit to college.
Yeah.
Like at all. And I think one of the important things for me on the vlog end of it is not only for the moral support that I will probably definitely need from all of you guys, but also as a way of showing other people our age that you can do it. I mean, what's holding you back? Taking out more student loans? I mean, come on, guys, are we going to finish paying those off anyway? Let's be real. I feel like I can not only be of service to the community by showing like what it's like to go through it to all of you, but I can also be of service to my community in the end because like I set up to go back to school for psychology. I think that my passion is for helping people, and I think that instead of narrowing it to, AODA, which is fine if that's, I wouldn't mind working in that either, but I think that the more I've thought about it, the more I'm interested in learning all I can about REBT, which is what, for me personally, saved my life.
What's that stand for?
Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. And
just in case folks don't
know.
Just
in case you want to look it up. Albert Ellis. You just Google Albert Ellis. After you're done watching this video or listening to this podcast, I highly recommend you go do that. It changed my life. Basically it's training yourself to think about whether or not what you're feeling is rational, and if it's not rational, then not making the decision based on, thinking that, it is a way. So, it'd be cool to write a paper on it. It'd be cool to teach it. It'd be cool to, teach people how to use it in a clinical setting. And if I want to do that, well, I got to go back to college for 6 years probably. So, I mean, if you guys stick along, I mean, I have no reason to not vlog it for the next 6 years, whether this channel blows up or not.
Yeah.
Because what else am I doing? So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
You'll get to see me go gray right before your eyes if you watch it in time lapse.
Well, we did have, speaking of, we did have some responses. People wanted to get some more information on education and stuff. So that's part of why we're doing this.
It's true. Well, to show you that it's not that scary. The only thing stopping you from doing it is you.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe the FAFSA. I mean, I don't know. Maybe your parents make too much
just getting
money.
started. Just get started.
Walk in the door.
Yep.
If it scares you, it's probably good that you're doing it.
Yeah. The more often than not, that thing you don't want to do is probably the thing you're supposed to do. That's one thing I've learned.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You know,
unless it's going back out, but you know.
Well, true, but you know, you get up in the morning and, you know, do I want to exercise? I don't want to exercise. I don't want to, you know, get up early. I don't want to read that book. I don't want to, you know, whatever those things are.
I did not roll out my back this morning, and I regret that decision. Right. I meant to bring my yoga mat and my roller
all
here.
All those little things,
forgot
you know, the thing that you don't want to do.
I mean, I want to do that, but yeah, I feel you.
I digress. But yeah, stay tuned for, you know, following along with Mitchell on the education journey. I'm excited to see it because, you know, in my own, I've got, you know, a little further down the road, I've got my own education coming up later on. That little spoiler here, a little teaser. I'm potentially going to be pursuing some stuff, but I'll save that treat for later after I have a couple of meetings with some folks that I know at the UW, and after I kind of tease out a couple of options and see. But there might be
leaving options open? No way.
I
don't believe that you're setting up 3 possibilities, maybe 5, and then like pursuing the one that makes the most sense financially.
I may or may not have something in the works there. Yeah, I know.
I find this
me doing A/B testing.
I cannot believe
me doing
A/B/C/D/E testing.
Believe it or not.
Anyway,
But on that note, something else that we heard in the poll on the Facebook channel was about finances. Annalie had asked a question. What do we do with those checks early on? How could one enjoy the freedom to spend? Which is a fun question. I hear it all the time when I'm doing you know, my financial fundamentals.
So real quick though, if you want to feel the freedom to spend, you just don't do what Brett's about to tell you and just buy the hat or shoes anyway.
Yeah.
Your results may vary.
Yeah, don't listen to Mitchell. So, little background. I volunteer on Fridays at a inpatient treatment facility, where the place that I actually did my treatment at 3.5+ years ago.
That's where we met.
Yep, it is.
Not 3.5 years ago, though.
Not yet. No, but yeah, I was a client there when I checked myself in for treatment, and then after I was clean for a year, I decided that, you know, I was at a good place where I was ready to start doing service for others as well, and so I started volunteering. And then a while down the road after that, after I'd been volunteering, I was on good enough ground. I'd been putting into practice my own financial teaching that I taught myself, and I'd been seeing the results of what I'd been putting into practice for the, you know, at that time probably about 1.5 or 2 years almost, and I'd been seeing the results of staying disciplined and you know, I say, you know, making small good decisions over, you know, every day for a long period of time and compounding those results. So I started teaching a financial fundamentals class as well as volunteering there, and so I hear questions like this all the time from folks when I'm talking to them, and I think the easiest way to kind of summarize it is, so you can go online. There's 1 million people online on YouTube channels that are going to tell you about all these fancy budgets. You can buy these fancy books that, you know, you can go and write all of your expenses down and all of this stuff. And here's the
Well, I mean, you know, Dave Ramsey got rich by telling people how to spend their money.
but here's the thing with all of these fancy budgets and all of that stuff. Who do you know that actually does a budget every month? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You'll do it one time and then never touch the thing again. Because who wants to actually go sit down at the end of the month and write all that crap into the book again?
No.
Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So that's my big secret.
Okay.
Throw all of that out of the window. The big trick is to automate all of it.
Yeah, I mean, so this is actually something that I do, is that I have my check go into different accounts.
Yeah.
And so one of those accounts is a spending account.
Yeah.
And so if there's money in there, I don't have to feel guilty spending it because it's not coming out of savings, it's not coming out of bills, it's coming out of spending.
Yeah.
And that's the simplest way I have found for me.
And so what I've done is, you know, like I've gone through a bunch of, like, I've done all of the I sit down with me and have a coffee sometime. I promise you, after 20 minutes, you'll be like, oh my god, this guy is so on the spectrum, and like I'm pretty sure his brain runs on Excel. So I've watched the videos, I've read the books, I've done a lot of the stuff, and I can distill it down for you quite a bit and make it pretty simple. But the big trick is coming up with a very basic budget and then automating it. And then once it's all automated and you know how much needs to go into each account, you've basically given yourself permission to spend that money on whatever you want. And then you don't have the stress of being like, oh, can I spend whatever on a pumpkin spice latte? Yeah, spend the money. It's fine. You've literally already bookmarked or earmarked that money for whatever you want. I mean, it's fine.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. But that's the whole trick, is the systems, the automation of it. And so, without going into too much of that this time, that is my little teaser for big reveal. We're going to be doing, well, I'm going to, because you would probably pull your hair out.
I think, like, honestly, it would be fun to just, like, come through in the background from time to time, holding various signs meant to distract.
I mean,
you're welcome maybe to break up the monotony.
You're welcome
that
to.
is your Ben Stein approach.
You're absolutely welcome to. But big reveal is on Fridays. I'm going to be doing a live stream. Audience participation, please join me on Fridays.
Yep.
I will put it onto the YouTubes. There will be a schedule, so make sure you are subscribed with notifications, and it will then notify you, ping you, that there is a live stream coming up, and we are going to do little bite-sized chunks on Fridays where we'll go over some money management, financial fundamentals, all of that kind of stuff, and you can hop into the chat, ask questions, and we'll go over, all sorts of stuff.
It's going to be a new segment to the channel we're calling Financial Fridays with Brett.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, basically, we'll go through.
And that way, if you're in the live stream, you can watch it back later, sure. But if you're in the live stream, you can ask Brett in chat actual direct questions, and believe it or not, he'll probably have the answer for it.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll cover a lot of stuff over the course of several weeks. But I mean, from just to give a little bit of backstory without too much, you know, I went from, you know, having mid 400s credit score and being big time in debt and, you know, no money at all. Like, I'm, you know, repaired my credit. I got out of debt. I have solid financial footing now. And all in less than 4 years. So, I mean, it's doable. Like,
and the same concept applies as to the college thing. Like, if you don't start, where are you going to be in 4 years? If you hadn't started, you'd
right.
be just as broke as you were then.
Right, and I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. There's no such thing as you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get rich quick. But like, it's not some big sexy like, oh, you know, I bought SHIB or Dogecoin or something like that and like happened to get lucky. Like, it's don't go for shiny and sexy. Like, that's the biggest thing I can tell you. It's not going to work. You're not going to be that person. You're gonna.
I've learned that lesson in many relationships.
So, but stay tuned. Fridays. Keep an eye out. I'm going to schedule it. You'll see notifications come up. So please tune in. Have some questions ready. But yeah, we'll go through a bunch of that kind of stuff. Yeah, first week we'll go through just kind of some basics of how to set up an ideal kind of basic budget of money and how to set up just a few basic accounts and how to automatically have your money sent where it's supposed to go, and then you'll already know how much money you've given yourself permission to just spend and have fun with, and there's no stress about it, no anxiety, and you can then go and actually enjoy having that money and spending it.
Yeah. Well, it's so much easier to do it by percent that way too.
It is.
You're just doing it straight off your paycheck.
It is.
Because it's easier than I thought it would be to have your direct deposit go to many different places. So yeah. I highly recommend you taking the course on Fridays. It is definitely not my wheelhouse, so I may show up and participate, but you know, my financial advice is you don't want that.
Unless you want a room full of hats and shoes.
Oh, and Alexis. Anyway. So, I mean, that brings me to another place to ask questions. I did promise to start a Discord. I did start it. There's only general there at the moment because, again, I slept all day Wednesday, like literally. So I have not. I should not say that I haven't had the free time. I have not made the free time to get that set up, and so do look for that coming soon. I've created a number of servers, so I'd like that to become a space for all of us to be able to communicate, get together. You know, there will be a set of rules, so when you come in, you'll be able to see that. But you know, I think it'll be a good opportunity for networking. You know, I want a little hobby section on there. Maybe links to, well, we'll have links to all the videos, much like our webpage, which is realworldrecovery.net, which is a good place to find us. We just set up emails.
Yep.
So if you are looking to get more involved and you want to help out in the future, you know, feel free to email info@realrecovery.net if you're looking to go.
Real World Recovery.
What did I say?
You skipped world.
Oh, Real World Recovery.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
info@realworldrecovery.net. That's us.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
But it's worth it.
It is. But yes, yeah, like Mitchell was saying, Discord is still a work in progress, but it's coming. It's going to be kind of our hub for like ongoing kind of socializing and getting to know each other and network and, you know, talk about all of our different interests and things. That was another big thing that was on our poll, which was
how to make friends and
and just kind of networking over like mutual interests and stuff. So
and how to meet people without having to go hang out after a meeting. You know,
which
I mean
is all well and good, but there's other ways. So, you know, a big one that I personally enjoy is doing it online. And, you know, like, I play a lot of video games, and that's one of my preferred ways. I've got a lot of friends that I've made that I've never met in person. Sure. And I consider very close friends.
I have a whole community of people like that.
I've been friends with them for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. They've known me through, like, the worst of the worst times.
Sure.
Like, they know me more intimately than
my raid groups like, have seen more than one like, 7 a.m.
Like they've seen me in moments of my life that people who know me in person have never seen, because when I like isolated, I was in video games in headphone and headset land playing video games, and they were on the other end. There's something to that, and so, you know, I'm a big proponent of that being a great way to network with people and actually make strong bonds. So I think that's a very strong component of networking and making friends. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna take me like 3 hours probably to get the framework in, but after that it's kind of up to you guys. You know, I spend a lot of time on our Facebook page, so, you know, just splitting my attention in so many directions. I mean, I have Discord on my phone 24/7, so I'm always available on Discord, unless I'm asleep.
Yep.
But yeah, I answer questions there. It's actually probably the easiest way to get a hold of me, honestly. So that's coming soon. If you want to get more involved, either, like I said, message me on Discord, info@realworldrecovery.net. Let's see. I see we were thinking about Mindset Moment.
We were gonna do some shout-outs.
Shout-outs? Okay.
Yeah. One of the big ones, on the topic of the Discord though, the first one I wanted to shout out was, we had asked a question about, in recovery, there's big changes that come along in your social circle. A lot of times, and you know, you got to make big changes with who you're hanging out with, people, places, and things, and that oftentimes means cutting a lot of people out of your life. And then there's that loneliness that kicks in, and so like we asked, you know, what are some ways of dealing with that loneliness that don't involve seeking out the company of other people and that external, you know, comforts. And I wanted to shout out to Keith, because he had like a list of like a half a dozen things. He was like, I do 3D printing, I do, you know, media server and NAS server creations, I do amateur radio, I build Steam decks. And he's like, you know, I talked to him in person. He was like, I also do like, I like cooking. Would you want to see like cooking videos? And I was like, man, give me all of it. Like, yeah, that's all awesome. And you know, I think, you know,
what the hobbies section on the Discord will be for.
Yeah, and I think like all of that stuff is like awesome, because those are like, regardless of whether or not you think that other people might be interested in it, or even like, I'm not super like good at it, right? Like, those are all those things that I feel like we're conditioned to kind of say that kind of bring us down, that like some sort of conditioned response, or like we think that's like we're supposed to say to like
Sure.
humble ourselves, but really like I look at it like, man, that's us awesome. Like, those are all things that first impulse is, I enjoy this. I'm interested in it. Like, that's the first thing that happened in our mind is, I'm drawn to this. Like,
Sure.
there's something there. And that's the thing that should get our focus, is that first thought. All the rest of it is noise, talking us all down and trying to like muddy the water. Like, focusing on that first thought and following that and being passionate about it and being positive and talking it up and talking ourselves up especially. And that's what I want to try to encourage everybody else to do is, if you have that, if you've got that spark, let's connect. Like, if there's people
Right.
out there that are interested in it, just
shout it from the rooftop. Who knows?
yeah, and just like find a way to get together and share pictures, share videos, share whatever, and get on Discord and talk about it and whatever it is, because it might be what somebody else needs that day.
Right. Unless it's news, you will get banned.
Right. True. But like that's the stuff. Like that's the meat and potatoes of this. Is like, those are the things we're out here doing. Like, it's not magic. We're not, changing the world
No.
in some big event.
I mean, I think really the goal is just to, make it a little more tolerable for all of us, right?
Well, and
The more of us there are, the more tolerable it becomes.
I don't know. Was there anything like out of any of the social stuff that you saw?
I mean, in that thread, Abe collects coins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Having it all, being able to like respond to it in real time, both on my personal account and as the Real World Recovery account, makes it, special and personal to me.
Yeah.
In a way that, I don't know how comfortable I honestly feel just talking about that intimate bit of the internet here on YouTube. But
yeah,
I mean, there was so many good answers to so many questions. We had some interest. So I asked this morning of you guys, if your taste in music changed at all since you stopped using. And personally, I'd noticed that I listened to less dark stuff. When I was a heavy drinker, I listened to a lot of like grimy drum and bass and a lot of like really not like more dubsteppy, if that's a word that you guys might relate to, but like that dirtier sound.
Yeah.
And I've always mixed heavy hardcore, but
Yeah.
it's been when I'm not doing that, I've gotten really into mixing 125 melodic techno, and I'm not all full of pent up rage, and I still have an appreciation for that kind of music, but I'm not I find myself when I'm downloading it, I'm not in the mood to mix it. And I can't mix it effectively because I don't have the angst that it requires to effectively mix it. And I was actually kind of surprised that, the people who responded were really kind of man, I kind of found my long lost love of thrash. I'm like going crazy. And I mean that's but talking about how it was easier to listen to mellow music when they were hyped up because it brought them down a bit, which is kind of wild. It's perspective I didn't ever really think about. The pace of my music for the most part hasn't slowed down. If anything, it's sped up. I mean, I'll mix at 200 BPM now. I don't even care. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway from today's socials. But there's just so much of it. It's overwhelming for me to just pick out pieces.
And I mean, I agree. I think it's been great in the very first week of doing this. Like it's just been a wonderful, overwhelming response.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a moonshot.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really, truly was. And
I mean, you hope that you'll get such a positive response, but I could not have anticipated how positive the response was.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So thank you again.
Yeah, it's all you guys.
It's great.
All I'm doing is like getting done meditating and then like stretching and then thinking the last thought that was in my head in meditation. I'm like, oh, maybe that works.
Yeah.
And then people respond to it. I'm like, okay, wild.
Yeah. So speaking of, one of the podcasts that I personally really like listening to is it all talks about mindset. It's a mindset podcast, and they have different people come on and talk mindset, and it stuck with me as pertinent to what we're doing, because a lot of times those negative thoughts creep in for me in recovery, even still. Like I get a lot of negative talk. I get really down on myself. I second guess. I overthink. I overanalyze. I catastrophize. Just every possible.
The world is ending, Brad.
I mean, and that's fine. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
What I can do is me.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that stuck with me though was it talked about testing the validity of my thoughts, which I was like, how do you do, like, what does that even mean? And the way that this person described it was, as soon as I have any kind of like negative feeling, like as soon as I'm like, whatever I'm doing throughout the day, if all of a sudden like I get like a negative physical, like I just start feeling bad or anything like that, the first thing I have to do is ask myself, what was I just thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Because usually there's something that happened that like there was some thought that crept in, and it's usually subconscious. Like there's just something that crept in. And I thought to myself something, and whatever it was probably something negative, and then immediately debate myself on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like immediately argue with myself. And just try to argue whether or not that's even a valid thought.
Okay.
Because then I'm taking a contrary position and I'm arguing the positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's basically the analogy that I used was, if you take a cup of water, it's clear.
I like it.
And you take a spoonful of dirt and put it in water.
Tasty.
Water's now dirty.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
But if you put a spoonful of water back in, it's still dirty. It's going to take multiple spoonfuls of water.
That water will never be clean in my eyes.
But it's going to take multiple spoonfuls of water before you have a clear cup of water again to actually flush that dirt back out. So like you basically have to like force that negative thought back out with a bunch of positive thoughts. So you're arguing the positive that negative thought when it happens. So I thought it was interesting. I just wanted to bring it up.
So you know what you're describing. So I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is the DIBS tool from Smart Recovery, but that is DIBS stands for disputing irrational beliefs, and so what you are doing is like one of the key foundations in REBT. You're taking it back and looking at why and whether or not it's rational to feel that way because of what you thought.
Nice.
I'm just throwing that out there. So
I like it.
I'm like, I'm going to go to school for this shit, and you're over here learning it off of a podcast, which is fine. I mean, I learned it in treatment.
I love it.
I taught it, you know, it's good.
However that knowledge happens and gets absorbed.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Like,
I'm here.
I'm trying to pass it along.
Albert Ellis saved my life, man.
Man, I'm trying to pass it along myself. Like, you know,
Mhm.
I'm learning
We're
shit
at
from
the-
a 1940s second edition book on how to analyze investment securities.
Sure.
Like The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And then I summarize it, pass it along. But you know, like that's just how I don't care how information happens and gets absorbed, man. As long as it happens. So, but anyway,
So what's next for us going forward?
man, I'm hopefully gonna have.
I mean, don't name drop.
No, I'm not gonna yet. But I hopefully
Yeah.
will have a big name drop soon.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
you can only hope.
I don't wanna
Get you too excited yet.
but get it hopefully.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm right
You
there.
know.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
But if it happens, trust me.
Yeah, you'll know.
It's if I can get something going, I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to the possibility. So there's a very good chance.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
So
I personally ordered myself some, you know, in-person like clip-on interviewing equipment, just cheesy stuff from Amazon, just to start doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I'm out and about, I plan on starting in maybe like grabbing people for a little short blurb interviews, which I'll post. You know, you talked about doing the same. Are you still thinking about doing that, or is it something?
yeah, you know, I want to keep doing you know, little shorts and stuff when I can. You know, I think a lot of more of what I'm going to be trying to do is focusing on, you know, the Friday stuff and the you know, back end for the Saturday stuff, and then occasional here and there stuff
Sure.
for the Saturday or for the shorts and stuff. But
Yeah, and for me, you guys will just get to see this glorious mustache grow in real time.
yeah, love it, love it.
So if you see me on the street and I've got a microphone in my hand, yeah, just go to the other side of the street if you don't want to be on the YouTube channel. I mean, honestly, I'm probably not going to take video in a lot of those because, you know, it's going to be a little more impromptu, and I don't want people to be like, oh, but the way I look is I'm not pretty enough. Like, okay, I'm never pretty enough for me either.
Please stay connected, stay involved, stay active. We want to,
and not just with us in your own communities.
Yeah, we want to, you know, hear about all the things you're doing. You know, that's the important stuff for us. Is like, you know, this is bigger than just a YouTube channel. It's bigger than just a podcast. It's bigger than just a Facebook page. Like,
it's a chance for everybody to connect and, you know, meet people you've never met before. I mean, a lot of you who are here from knowing me, you know, you're on different sides of Lake Michigan. You know, you're all over the Midwest. Some of you are not even from this country. So it's great. It's just, if each person, you know, if each person tells 8 people, then we have the whole world in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a big network. That's a big old safety net for when you're having a bad day.
And I want to leave you guys with a mission statement that I came up with here for what we're trying to do.
Can you tap your fingers like Mr. Burns while you read it?
Maybe, but the idea here is we're trying to put something together that's, you know, bigger than one or two pieces of this.
Sure.
You know, and I don't know how big or what direction this all goes, but I hope that this encompasses the goal adequately enough. Our mission is to build a multi-platform, inclusive, and interactive community that fosters networking, education, awareness, and resource access for the recovery community and beyond. We aim to demystify recovery by showcasing real-world applications of recovery tools and insights, offering hope, encouragement, and practical guidance for those on their journey by highlighting personal growth beyond treatment centers and meeting rooms. We strive to reduce stigma and reveal the humanity in recovery, illustrating that we are individuals committed to creating better lives for ourselves and better communities for our neighbors. So, with that, we'll ask you one more time, please like, subscribe,
And comment down below what you think. Anything.
click the little bell so you get notified.
We'll see you guys soon. Love y'all.